Welcome back to the morning show on XL7 TV. It's This Week in Real Estate Day. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good.
Weather's good. Going into Turkey Trot. You mentioned that.
Turkey the Trot.
We'll be there. I think I'll be there for a while today, and we'll be there tomorrow. And there's a lot going on. I mean, that's really a big event. We kind of lose, that small town America that we talk about all the time. Mm-hmm. That's truly what it is. No more flying turkeys. They use a drone and stuffed turkeys.
It's so much more fun with the turkeys.
Don't, please.
So much more fun.
Yeah, well, it may have been.
Let me ask you, were you ever part of that? Did you ever get to see any of that?
Yeah, we've been going there for, I bet we've been going there for 15 years. It was one of those things when I heard about it, I was like, we'll take a booth. Yeah, we'll take a booth. I want to be there for this. Yeah. And, the different vendors and people, a lot of families use it for like reunions and things like that, where they get together and they come out, and it's just a good excuse to come out and have a good time. The weather's usually a good day. It may be a little hot tomorrow, a little warmer than we're kind of used to it. But I've also been out there when it's been like cold.
Yeah.
That's not fun. It's easier to be a little warm than a little cold. Mm-hmm. So, but it's, I think it's like the 78th year or something. It goes back quite a ways.
Yeah, it's been a big festival.
They dropped now they use the drone. They dropped the little stuffed turkeys, and they get little cards on there like $25 for harps or whatever the case may be. And it's just a cool thing. You see the kids running around in the street and stuff. But I do remember the kids running up and down the street holding
carrying this 13-pound turkey,
holding the turkey,
feathers flying everywhere.
Oh yeah. So you go, wait a minute, what happened to me? I was just out for a nice little scenic tour in a plane, and all of a sudden this kid's got me by the throat. So it was kind of interesting.
I remember the one year they tried dropping frozen turkeys. That didn't work.
I think it was WKRP in Cincinnati.
Oh, that may have been.
That may have been. We were talking about that last night.
How's the real estate world?
Still moving. We closed half of one. People were leaving town, so we had them come in, and Evie Bird over at Alley took care of, or whatever they are now, took care of all the paperwork like in record time, so we could get them signed and they could be on their way, get on the road. The value of good closers, just really can't be overstated. The closing companies we got here, they're all good. But they've done a great job of getting things done and making sure everything is done right. Especially when people come in from other states where they got lawyers and the contracts are 86 pages and all this and that, and they come here and they see how easy things can be. Mm-hmm. You really don't need all this other falterall and expenses and things that go with it. To be able to just sit down, 15 minutes, out the door, and you're done. We'll mail you the check on Tuesday. That speaks volumes for how we are here.
You talked about the closing agents and their role and how this works. Does the title insurance protect the buyer, the seller, or both?
Both. It tells the seller that they can sell that property, that nobody else has any encumbrances on it. Mm-hmm. There's no cousin Floyd that's got a piece of that was left to him by a generation ago. Now they only go back so far. There's two different types of title searches that they do, but we've never had any issues. They're great. And sometimes, Aunt Mary left stuff to all of her nieces and nephews, and there might be 7-8 people that they got to track down to sign these deeds to get them released so that the property can be sold. They can sometimes be very complicated, and they get them done. So we're really lucky here.
A very important piece of the puzzle.
Oh, it's because it doesn't get done without them. Mm-hmm. And here we do use it. We use closing agents. Now they're licensed and bonded, and they go to school and everything else. But in a lot of states, it's all lawyers and stuff. Well, as soon as you get into lawyers, the cost goes up dramatically, and the amount of paperwork that's generated trying to justify the hours and things that, for the billing, and just lawyers trying to cover themselves, excuse me, that makes a big difference. Here, the closing documents are really very simple and straight. I think the biggest thing is they're straightforward. You know what they say. They're written in English, and people know when they're sitting there, and she's explaining what this document does, what it says, very clearly. And you don't get all the whereas and could be's and maybe, might, could, should, maybe.
All the who shot John?
Yeah, exactly. So we've been, like I say, it's a good thing. I was very happy when I realized how things worked here. I was like, oh, this makes a lot more sense. Now lawyers go over it and stuff, and you can always bring a lawyer, and same thing with the contracts and stuff. Our contracts are way shorter than a lot of other states. And I tell people, you want your attorney to look it over? Have him look it over. Make sure that he knows what he's talking about, that he knows Arkansas law, that he's not from a Philadelphia lawyer, that he's a lawyer
Cousin Vinny.
who's right, that he's a lawyer from here who understands what we do here. Our contracts have been other states have taken our contracts and just flat out stole them. They're copyrighted and everything, and they go back and they sue them. They had one of the states, they just took white out and took out the state of Arkansas in the top and put in like New Hampshire or whatever it was, and like that was okay, really. But our contracts compared to others, I had a client who moved to Virginia, and she said, could I get a copy of the contract, because they wanted to make sure that the house was going to sell here because they were buying there. Sure, I sent it out. I sent her the contract. I sent her the property disclosure, and she called back the next day. She says, "Where's the rest of it?" I says, "How many? What? I sent you the whole thing." She says, "No, you can't be. This can't be the right thing." It was like, it's contract's like 12 pages, and the property disclosure at the time was like 7 or 8. That was it. She says, "Our property disclosure is like 47 pages." I mean, how could you possibly fill that out? How could you, as a homeowner, know all the minutia that's going to be in there? But it's all lawyerese. That's what it is. So I says, "No, that's really it." She says, "You've got to be kidding me." I said, "No, that's the way we do things here."
With the time of the season that we're in, we're in October. Weather's cooling off a little bit.
Yep.
Schools are in full swing. All the events are happening full swing as well. Where are you seeing folks inquiring about our area? Where are they coming from?
We've had a couple from Montana, which we had never really seen before, and we're getting more. We have some people that are in from Pennsylvania, which is someplace we historically haven't seen before. And some of that East Coast is starting to realize that they want to move in a little farther inland. They're getting a better bang for their buck, and they're it's beautiful here. They come and they go, "Wow." They just didn't. We're flyover country. They don't really think about it. Or when they do think of Arkansas, it's maybe not in the most complimentary way. And when they come here and they see it, it's like, it was pretty cool. This internet thing is starting to pay off for everybody here.
With it being an election season, we're not going to get into politics, but it is an election season. Has that hindered the real estate world?
Sure. We've had a couple of people that have come in and started to look and just said, we're just going to go home until we figure out what's going to go on.
Until the world tells us where we're headed.
Right. Until we figure out what it is we're going to do, and we'll go from there. And I'm fine with that. I want you to be comfortable. I don't want you to make a rash decision and then go, what did we do? I would much rather have people here that want to be here. It's better for the community. It's better for them, obviously, and that's really my thrust is for them, but it's also better for everybody else that lives here to maintain the community that we have.
I know you stay in touch with the banking world here and with the mortgage lenders. Yeah. What's our interest rates doing right now?
It was like 6.3. It jumped up this past week. And then the inflation numbers kicked in yesterday. They came out yesterday, and the unemployment numbers. So I would probably look to maybe see it bounce up again a little bit. They may not be so quick to pull the trigger on a reduction in the prime rate. I think when they jumped at half, they kind of shot their load, and they didn't have any ammunition left to do another one, especially before the election, which I think was what they were thinking they could do to kind of help things along. But the rates have gone up some. And it's based on a 10-year bond. It's because it's a long-term investment. So the 10-year bonds set that as a benchmark for them. It's not number per number, but
And still there is a urgency and importance of having been pre-approved.
Oh, you can't do nothing without being pre-approved, and not only pre-approved if you've got cash. And people say, well, I'm a cash buyer. And then it turns out as you get closer to closing that they've got stocks. They don't really have dead presidents in the bank because they sold their house. Mm-hmm. They've got the funds. So then when they go to their broker, understandably, the broker says, oh, that's a terrible idea. You don't want to sell these stocks. You want to get a mortgage. You need to do something else. You don't. This money's great right here. I understand that. But the problem is generally it's now you're like 2 weeks out and try to get a mortgage approved and get the house appraised and all the things that go into getting a mortgage where you're using the bank's money mm-hmm. and not yours. That can really gum up the works. So that's the first thing. Somebody comes in and they say, well, we're a cash buyer. I said, no. Dead president's cash buyer or investments that you need to sell. And we need to know that right away. Mm-hmm. If it's investments, are you really going to sell them or not? Let's just get you a mortgage and go from there.
Yeah, you can always sell them later.
Exactly.
Pay it off.
Exactly.
Let's look at your numbers.
This week in real estate, there were 38 new listings came on the market, 1 commercial property, 14 parcels of land, 23 homes came on the market. They range in price from $71,000 to $649,000, and 3 of them are taking backups. There were 36 sales, 6 parcels of land, 30 homes sold. Those homes sold in a range from $20,000 to $825,000. The average sale price this week was $246,000. The average listed price was $260,000, so you're starting to see a little more of a gap in between the listed and sold. 115 days on market, so we're a couple long timers that went under contract, that were sold, excuse me. But a total of $7 million closed this week. So out of 30 homes, it was $7 million. That was a lot. It was a number of big houses mm-hmm. that closed. There were 18 properties expired. There were 30 residential price changes. Currently, there's 365 homes listed on the MLS that you could walk in and buy. Year to date, for 2024, there's been 844 homes have sold. The average sale price is $242,000 with 93 days on market. Last year, there had been 851 homes that sold with an average sale price of $229,000 with 86 days on market. And then I went back for 2022 year to date. There had been 958 homes that sold with an average sale price of $221,000 with 80 days on market. In 2021, 1,015 homes that sold. That was COVID. And people were just buying anything that wasn't nailed down. The average sale price then was $198,000 with 89 days on market. 2020, the beginning of COVID, there still was 953 homes that sold. The average sale price was $167,000. 144 days on market, which is probably more of a common thing prior to COVID. In 2019, before COVID, there have been 888 homes that sold with an average sale price of $148,000. 134 days on market.
So 148 to what?
Today? 148 today. We're at 242. So $100,000 over the past 5 years.
It's crazy.
A little bit, yeah.
How'd they get you?
Call my honey. She's at 870-405-0793. She spins the plates. She makes the appointments. She does all the things that you need to do to get us out there. If you have any questions, we're glad to help you out. If you think that you're overwhelmed, we have things that we can do to help you get past some of that. But all starts with a phone call to Linda. She's at 870-405-0793. Check out the website, retiredarkansas.net. I didn't look last night when the Northern Lights, she posted some Northern Lights. She said, the Northern Lights are. So we went on the back deck, and I got a nice northern view, took a look, couldn't see nothing. I says, but the bridge is lit up. That's like, that's my Northern Lights. I said, we get that every night. So, but when she started, when people were taking pictures, the filtering in the cameras was popping that colors.
Okay.
So she posted some pictures of the Northern Lights on there, and but I don't know if they showed up on our cameras or not because we face a little more easterly on there. But give her a call. She's at 870-405-0793.
You know, you made mention just a moment ago about being overwhelmed. You know, if you're feeling overwhelmed with your real estate transaction, you probably are. So therefore, call a professional.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I think that we had a girl yesterday who, she was with her mother, and she's an agent in another state. And we were chatting in the car going out there, and we're talking about how things are there, how things are here, and people, how the real estate market is going. And I said, well, people still want their personal touch. There they do a lot more electronic stuff. They do a lot more, computer things like that. Not as much hands-on. Here, I think the people like that. They like that reassuring, being able to see you, being able to touch you, being able to give you a hug at the end of the day when things are going well, and to be able to have that connection with people. And if they're moving here, to know that I'm going to see them again, I'm going to bump into the Harps or Coltons or whatever it may be. And if they're leaving, we've had people that have still stayed in touch. They're Facebook friends of Linda, and they say, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. And we bought a house here, and now we're moving over to someplace else. And just keeping that personal touch, which you can't get that if you're on Zillow and Trulia, and that's all you're getting, and you're getting your information from them. It's tough.
Yep. This has been This Week in Real Estate with Bob Zadora. 870-405-0793 is the number. retiredarkansas.net. It's Football Friday. We'll be back in just a moment.